Just let me know when we have a few people signed in, and we can. Just one moment, thank you. Okay, Dr. Morthy, we're ready to start whenever you are.
Okay, let's begin. All right. This meeting of the Mahwah Board of Education is open to members of the public to be physically present. Members of the public that attend will be asked to follow the same procedures as all other visitors to our schools. Those procedures can be found on the agenda page of our website. Additionally, the board meeting will be live streamed for viewing purposes only. Anyone wishing to view the meeting may do so via Zoom. The webinar ID for this meeting is 852-8573-1027. And the required password is 743457. All right, I call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Bleeker.
Ms. Saccone.
Here.
Mr. Copeland.
Here.
Ms. Stabonero.
Here.
Mr. De Silva.
Here.
Mr. Denise.
Here.
Mr. Gallo.
Here.
Mr. Kazmarski. Dr. Park. Student Representative Mr. Edward Kane.
Here.
And Dr. Morthy.
Here. Adequate notice of agenda of this meeting has been provided to the Ridgewood News and the Record, specifying that the Mahwah Board of Education will meet on November 16th, 2022 in the administrative offices, 60 Ridge Road, Mahwah, New Jersey. A copy was filed with the Township Clerk. Salute to the flag. Mr. Copeland, would you lead us, please?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We will not need an executive session in the beginning today, so we will move on to agenda questions. Please limit your questions at this time to resolutions under new business on this agenda. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you are here as an individual, please give us your name and address. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. Please specify the resolution you are referring to in your question. Okay, I need a motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Gallo. Okay, I see no one stepping forward. I think we can have a motion to close the meeting to the public. Ms. Saccone and Mr. Denise. All right, let's turn it off to Dr. DeToro for, wow, we have a lot in superintendent's report today, exciting stuff.
We do. Thank you so much.
Excellent.
So the first part of my report, I'm very excited to share with the board and the community. We've been talking a lot about the wonderful accomplishments that our students have made throughout the years, specific to athletics, but also with academics. We were able to invite our 2 runners, cross-country runners from Mahwah High School. Today they have amazing accomplishments, and I would love to just take a couple minutes to share with you both of those runners. So it's Zoe Merriman, and we also have Braden Lomassi. They both did an amazing job this season. So let me start with Zoe Merriman. This Mahwah High School senior has been a consistent and relentless competitor on the cross-country team for 4 years. This fall, she will collect her 3rd varsity letter in this sport. Expectations for Zoe were high coming into her senior season. What she accomplished and the way she performed exceeded those expectations. She started the season with a 2nd place finish in the Wave Mania Invitational, followed by gold medal performances at the Back to the Mountain Invitational and the Garrett Invitational. She would finish 3rd in divisional meets with Ramsey, Riverdale, Westwood, Pascack Hills, and Indian Hills. Zoe would place 2nd at the Big North Championship meet and 3rd in the county group meet. She would follow up with a 5th place finish at the Bergen County Meet of Champions out of 82 runners. Zoe would match that performance with a fifth place at the NJSIAA sectional meet and a 16th place finish out of 140 runners at the NJSIAA Group Championship meet, which would qualify Zoe for the elusive NJSIAA Meet of Champions, where she would place in the top third of the race out of 161 runners. Zoe has earned her second straight first team all-league honor and is awaiting an inevitable call on the all-county recognition. In addition to her running, Zoe is an active member of the Mahwah High School Environmental Club and has earned the Bronze and Silver Scholastic Awards. Last, but certainly not least, as she has excelled this fall, Zoe has climbed the all-time leaderboard for cross-country at Mahwah High School, finishing her cross-country career as the fastest cross-country runner in the history of Mahwah High School. Congratulations, Zoe. Thank you for all of your hard work and leadership this fall, and good luck this winter and spring. We look forward to seeing you and continuing your running career. Zoe, can you stand up, please?
And sitting next to Zoe is Braden. Braden, can you stand up? We'll get Brandon. Yes. Okay, so Braden Low-Massey is a high school senior. He's completed his 4th varsity season of cross country. He continued the tremendous growth he has shown throughout the last several track and field and cross country seasons. This fall, Braden wasted no time establishing himself as a force in the Big North and Bergen County cross country scene. He would complete a sweep of all divisional dual meets by finishing first in meets against Ramsey, Westwood, Riverdale, Pascack Hills, and Indian Hills. He would place 4th at the Back to the Mountain Invitational out of 112 runners. Braden would then run off first place titles at the Garrett Invitational, the Socrates Invitational, and the Big North Championship. As the meets got bigger, Braden continued to push and excel by capturing the Bergen County Group Championship, which led to a 7th place finish at the Bergen County Meet of Champions. He would go on to finish 4th at the NJSIAA sectional meet out of 127 runners, and 15th at the NJSIAA group meet out of 147 runners. This fall, Braden plans to collect his 3rd all-league recognition honor with all-county recognition, which is pending. Braden has risen to 2nd on Mahwah High School's all-time list for race times. Off the race course, Braden has excelled in the classroom as well. He has been awarded the Bronze, Silver, and Gold Scholastic Awards, as well as 7 Minds in Motion Awards coming into this season. We congratulate Braden, and we thank you for all your hard work and leadership this fall, and good luck this winter and spring. We look forward to seeing you continue your running career.
We definitely wanted to take just a moment and thank the coaches, Coach Rob Pasick and Coach Dina Scuderi, who's Dina is here today. So thank you for taking the time to work with our students and our athletes. Your ongoing commitment to the kids is greatly appreciated. We know that on a day-to-day basis, you're constantly stretching them athletically and motivating them to reach their goals. So thank you so much for taking a big part of this, being a big part of this. And just know that you make a difference in those moments that these runners are never going to forget. So thank you very much. To our runners, we have certificates of achievement that we would love to share with you. So if you can come up so we can give them to you.
Great, congrats. There you go. Congratulations. And if you Googled their times, they're amazing.
Thank you.
We have have something on our agenda specific to our middle school soccer team. Unfortunately, they have a big club game today, so we're gonna have to move that to December. But just a brief overview, and again, we're gonna honor them in December. Our middle school girls soccer team was their first year coming back from, I believe, a 13-year hiatus. In their first year, they were 10-2-1 overall, winning the North Bergen Middle School Interscholastic Athletic League Championship. So we will be celebrating them. I'm glad that Mr. Pelletier's here. I just want to thank him for the major role that he played in bringing middle school sports back with Mr. Corey and his team. So thank you very much, and we look forward to celebrating them in December. The second item that I would like to share is specific to our ESL classes that we're doing for the adults in our community. These classes are directly aligned to our strategic plan goal, which is explore how our schools support our diverse population and identify how to serve all groups more effectively. Yesterday was our first class that took place at Rampur Ridge in the Media Center. We had over 40 people sign up for this class, which is a great turnout. This is going to last from now until the end of the year. During that time, Mrs. Labrada, who's going to be teaching the class, will be working with them to develop communication skills that will support these individuals to really navigate the community, access resources, and really be successful here in Mahwah and in New Jersey. The next item I want to bring up is upcoming Parent Academy, which is taking place tomorrow for our kindergarten parents. It will take place at 6 o'clock via Zoom. The topic is how can I support my children in developing pre-reading skills so that reading is easier for them. The parents will learn from two of our Mahwah speech therapists on how to help their children learn to read and utilize fun games doing that at home. The last piece of my report, yet again, is spotlighting Mahwah High School seniors and their achievements and most importantly their experiences. Over the past couple of years, we've been working with Mr. Pascal, and he's been working very hard with his team to develop an internship and externship program. We've talked about it here at the board meeting, and I'm happy that it's come to fruition. It's aligned to our strategic plan goals as well. Those two goals are creating and developing relationships with organizations outside of our school building that enriches the students' educational experiences and prepares all students for more meaningful post-secondary options and the workforce, and it also aligns to the providing real-world experiences for our high school students through internships and mentorships that our community has to offer. I would like to invite Mr. Pascal up so he can just introduce our two students and the program and really how it's come to be right now.
Thank you, Dr. DeToro. So we piloted our Thunderbird externship program this summer. We had 3 students who participated, and 2 of our students this evening will go over what they did in their externship with you. Let me just tell you a little bit about what our externship program's about. Currently, we have an internship program that runs during the school year. It's our academic and career internships, where students can be in school for half a day, and then in the afternoon, go someplace where they're working or in an internship, and they're actually participating at the job site and can earn credit for that, okay? We've now added an externship program, which is open primarily to students who have finished sophomore year, so they can do it the summer before junior year. They could do it the summer before senior year if they'd like. It's a little bit different than the internship program. The externship program is a job shadowing, job exploration program. So it's more of going to job sites for a shorter period of time, observing what happens at the job site, and getting an idea, is this the kind of job I want to do? They can go to more than one place if they want, okay? Currently, all of our information about the internship and the externship program is on our website. This evening after the board meeting, I will tweet out, as I do periodically, where the information is, so that if you follow us on Twitter, you can get to that information, okay? So we have 2 students, one is a junior, one is a senior who participated. I'll introduce them to you one at a time. Our first student is in our engineering and technology career pathway. His name is Vishak Menon. He's a junior. He's going to talk to you about his experience at Boswell Engineering.
Thank you for having me. Yep, thank you. So over the summer, I did a externship program with a firm called Boswell Engineering. They're in Hackensack. They primarily focus on civil engineering, but we'll get to that later. So who am I? It's a little. Oh yeah, sorry.
Nice and loud.
Yeah. So yeah, junior at Mahwah High School. I participate in robotics, Model UN. I founded the investing club, and I do like peer leadership and French Honor Society. I hope to study mechanical engineering in college with a minor in finance. I feel like those are my two biggest interests right now. I'd love to pursue that. And my hobbies include reading, watching movies, listening to music, sailing, and playing tennis. So as I said, I want to study mechanical engineering, and I hope to actually become an engineer and work in the tech industry. I've always enjoyed science, math, and all that in school, so I hope to pursue that later on as an occupation. So engineers require strong public problem-solving skills. They need to be good public speakers and have a really high sense of responsibility to their community. And they need to study from an ABET accredited college. So basically, that just proves to your employers that, well, you know what to do. All right, so this is a little bit about the firm that I was externing with. It's, as I said, Boswell Engineering. It's a really old firm. It was founded in 1924, so they're gonna be reaching their 100th anniversary in like 2 years. Pretty cool. They serve as an engineering consulting firm for many communities in the Northeast. So they work all over Bergen County and even into like Delaware, so New Jersey, New York, tri-state area. They have a lot of environmental engineering, surveying, construction, structural engineering departments. They really don't call themselves a civil engineering firm. They call themselves like a multidisciplinary firm because of all the departments that they have and all the problems that they can solve and they have solved. So just a little fun fact, but they were the major contributor to the Continental Soldiers Park. Mr. Kelly, who I externed with over the summer, he was, I think, lead engineer for that project. So it was really nice to talk to him because he's so experienced in his job. Sorry guys. So here's some images of past projects. Top left, you see Continental Soldiers Park. They obviously did all the designing for that and laid it out. So there was a lot of engineering that went into that project. They had to develop drainage systems so that it could handle rain and snow and all that. And they also brought in their architects and structural engineers to create gazebos that were like aesthetically pleasing, but also functional. Top right, I think that's pretty cool, but they did a Ramapo River bank stabilization. As you can see, the bank was sort of degrading down, and it was posing a threat to a lot of the flora and fauna, as well as some buildings, and they were able to stabilize it. And you can see the after the right of that. They have an underwater engineering department, which I think is really cool. They have a bunch of engineers who are trained divers, and they will do stuff like inspecting bridges and like going through pipes and everything, make sure that everything's working correctly. And they work with the Delaware Department of Transportation to survey their bridges. So here are some images from my own externship experience. So on the top left, you can see that's a salt shed that Mahwah currently uses, and they're planning on converting that into a new building for the Department of Public Works. So that's pretty cool. At the bottom, they have, this is one of their projects that they're working on. It's a construction site for a new office warehouse at 1000 MacArthur Boulevard. So when I went there, it was just flat and level. There's a bunch of dirt. They got pipes. That's supposed to be their drainage pipes. They got cranes working on it. Right now, when I went past MacArthur, I think they've added some girders and like some structures to that. So that's pretty cool. I walked across that entire construction field, so it's kind of cool to see that, hey, there's something there now when there was originally nothing. So here are some major employees that I was able to interview when I was at the office. So the externship was divided into 2 days for me. One of the days was going around Mahwah, looking at the projects that Boswell was working on in Mahwah, or has worked on. And then the second day was an office day where I got to go to their headquarters in Hackensack and take a look at where they work and all that. So obviously the first person is Mr. Kelly. He's a municipal engineer at Boswell, and he focuses on like creating plans and concepts and then presenting them to local governments for approval. So he has a really important job where he's really communicating the scientific aspect of engineering to the government and trying to get approval. And he takes his job very seriously. He's really intent on creating safe structures that the public can use. Mr. Nash, he's also a professional engineer. I think he was the head of the transportation department. So he focused on like building roads, highways, bridges, connecting all that together. And that's also a really important role, to think about it, considering how much we use cars in our everyday life. Let's see, actually, here's a cool fun fact about him. He actually teaches at Stevens Institute of Technology. I think he's a civil engineering professor there, so he's able to use his experience from Boswell and his work experience to teach civil engineering majors transportation and how to solve problems relating to that field. And Mr. Panucci is the head of the construction department, so he's the guy who's sort of going to the construction sites, making sure that the contractors that they use are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the project is going smoothly. So it's a lot of individual cogs, and it's all working together in a big machine that, you know, creates all these buildings and facilities that we use and we sort of take for granted. So if you notice there's a PE after everyone's name, that means professional engineer. I was able to learn that a engineer has to like get accredited and qualified. So at the end of their 4 years, they take like an 8-hour whole day exam. Not fun, I'm sure. To get the fundamental engineering accreditation. And that basically is the first step to getting that professional engineer status, and it will prove to all your employers that you are competent in all engineering matters, and they can trust on you to take responsibility and do well at your job. Professional engineers usually have like multiple years of experience. I think the number is 5, and they also have to pass like a written exam to make sure that they also know their stuff. Like there's a mix of that content and experience. And those are the guys who really do the fun projects like building bridges and whatnot. So my thoughts on the program, first of all, I really liked it. I was not exposed to civil engineering at all. So as I said, I'm in the robotics club at the high school, and I mainly focus on building mechanical systems on the robot, so I was mainly thinking of becoming a mechanical engineer. Civil engineering, I don't have any family doing it, so I wasn't really sure about it, and yeah, didn't know much about it. But Mr. Kelly was great. He was really able to talk about his experience, his role in the civil engineering world, and sort of teach me about the field more. And it was a field that I really didn't know anything about. So I also learned the responsibilities of engineers. I originally thought that engineers are just people who like science and math and are good at science and math, and they sort of go in and do science and math and build stuff, you know? Because when you think of engineers, you think of Steve Wozniak or Tesla or whatever. And, but I also realized that the products that engineers sort of make have a real world impact on many people's lives. And that is a very serious thing, and engineers have to be very serious about their job. So they need to make sure that their math is right, their ideas are sound, it's been double-checked, triple-checked, quadruple-checked, and all of that, so that, well, nothing dangerous happens. For example, if Mr. Kelly was telling me this, but if they said give a fundamental engineer who's straight out of college building a bridge across the Hudson, well, the public's not really going to have a lot of trust in that bridge because the person doesn't have much experience and is sort of taking the lead on that project. So that's why all that accreditation system exists, and it's really important to have a real interest in your community if you were an engineer. And also, I got to see the behind-the-scenes part because I've been to Continental Soldiers, didn't really think of who built it, sort of just played soccer there. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think what's really great is the kids get a real-life experience in the field and then see how it connects to them academically. Our next student is Leanna Wu. She's a senior. Leanna is in our biotech and health science career pathway. Leanna, I'll put your... Okay, Leanna. Just talk into the mic. Close to your mouth.
Hi, I'm Liana Wu. I'm a senior. I am a part of the class of 2023, and I had the privilege of being able to be a part of this externship program. I was able to be a part of the Rockland and Bergen Surgical Center, which is under Surgery Corps. A little bit about myself. I'm a part of the marching band, who actually has practice right now. I'm one of the captains for the girls' golf team, and I'm also an avid member of the high school symphonic band. These are just some of the pictures from my experiences over the past 4 years of these different clubs and communities. I'm also a part of the Future Medical Professionals Club, as well as the Academic Decathlon. My future aspirations are to go into the medical field and hopefully become an oncologist. And in this field, one needs to be very well versed in obviously medicine and biology, but there's also an underlining skill of being able to have this psychological aspect of being able to talk to your patients, being able to understand socially that there's going to be a hindrance in knowing that they might have cancer, or knowing that they might have some chronic illness that could not be contained, or their life might be shortened for any reason. So just being able to have that social aspect towards one's patients is really important. So it's not all about the STEM side, there's also a humanities side to this career. Specifically oncology, in 2019 my mom passed away from cancer. So oncology is something that I'm going into as a passion, just trying to make sure that a child doesn't lose like their family, their loved one, through something as horrible as cancer. So my family is also well versed in the medical fields. All of my aunts and uncles of my mom's side are nurses, and I think just being able to rise up and become a doctor of the oncology field is something that I can truly put my heart into. A little bit about the institution that I worked at, Rockland and Bergen Surgical Center. This center that I externed at, was in Montvale, and it opened in 2011, which is not as old as where Bishop externed, but they do have several other locations, including Jersey City, Patterson, Brooklyn, Manhattan, just to name a few. And they're under the branch of the Surgery Corps Surgical Center. So they have various surgical centers throughout New York and as well as northern New Jersey. This particular center focuses on orthopedic surgery, pain management surgery, minor plastic surgeries, spinal surgeries, as well as just some small general surgeries. This center is one of the few that the medical community is trying to pilot towards working on bigger surgeries so that hospitals don't have to be crowded with different surgeries. It's more cost efficient and it's time efficient towards the surgeons so that they don't have to travel back and forth between their surgical center as well as the hospital for, let's say, a minor case, but it has to be done at the hospital for whatever reason. This center is a 23-hour care center. It is not licensed to do 24 hours, but a patient can come in at, say, 6 in the morning, get their surgery done, and if necessary, stay until early the next day so that the center can monitor anything necessary. Anything that might involve a blood transfusion or any surgery where it could go horribly wrong, the center is not licensed yet to do so, but hopefully as technology improves, they'll be able to take on more and more cases like that. While I was there, I was able to extern under Dr. Baruto, but really I was externing under the entire center. They taught me a lot of various things, Dr. Baruto especially, who actually has a son who goes to the Mahwah High School. He taught me about the various positions within the staff operating room, and I actually got to witness 3 different surgeries 2 in the shoulder and 1 in the knee. I got to stand about 5 feet away from the surgery, and I saw the television with the scope and the camera as it was inside the person's shoulder or inside the knee. I also was able to be there when Dr. Baruta intubated the person and when he numbed their entire arm to prep for their surgery so that 5 hours later, when they're home, they're not in pain from whatever surgery they did. Staff in the operating, this includes obviously the surgeon, their operating nurse, the physician's assistant, which varies from surgeon to surgeon, and the anesthesiologist, which Dr. Baruta, who the person I was externing under is, and certified surgical technicians. I was able to speak with primarily 2 CSTs, and you'll see them later in this presentation, and meet 2 different surgeons, Dr. Yu and Dr. Minamachuri. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I also got to meet a few operating nurses and talk to them about not only their experiences in the job field, but also their experiences leading up to getting this job, like medical school, prerequisites, or any other expertise that they might be able to offer specifically towards me, but also in general, towards anyone for these aspirations. Here are some notable staff. On the far left, this is one of the CSTs I've met. This is Carl, and he's currently prepping for, I believe this was a knee surgery. This station is completely sterilized, and as you can see, Carl is wearing a blue smock. From the front, he's completely sterilized. From the back, he's not, so he's only allowed to face that station from head on. And I was actually very close to coming into the radius of where I would be in the sterilization, and if I did, they would have to re-sterilize the entire station. So luckily, Dr. Baruta pulled me away just in time before they had to do that, or else that would have delayed a lot of things. In the middle, on the left of this 2 people, is Kaylee, another CST, and she was the main CST that I saw. She was in all 3 of the surgeries I saw. And when I was sitting in the break room just trying to absorb everything, I asked her a few questions, and I saw that she was also taking inventory of everything that the surgical center had. So she was highlighting and striking out different tools and different medications that either could be sent to another surgical center or that was necessary and that was running low in this particular surgical center. So I thought it was really cool to be able to not only see what they were doing in the surgical center, in the operating room, but also outside, like any paperwork that was necessary. Because while being a surgeon does sound fun, oh, I get to be in the surgical center and cut people open, there's also a lot of paperwork in case anything goes wrong, and also a lot of administrative work. And then to the far right is Dr. Andrew Baruta. He is an anesthesiologist that I was externing under, and he's responsible for performing any necessary nerve blocks and also any intubating. Nerve blocks is actually something that the surgeon themselves requests. One of the surgeons, the first surgery I saw, he did not request for a nerve block, and the next 2 did. And Dr. Baruta was telling me that patient is going to be feeling very horrible in about 5 hours when she wakes up because her entire arm was not nerve blocked, and I felt so bad for her. Dr. Baruta spent 4 years in undergrad at Michigan State University, 2 to get his master's in physiology, and then 4 years at medical school, and then 4 years in residency. These numbers and timelines vary from person to person and from specialty. Later, I'll speak about how the medical career can vary from person to person, but that's just the path that he took. He also told me privately that he took the MCAT about 4 times, so it just gives aspirations that even if you fall 1, 2, 3, or 3 times, that you can continue going, and that perseverance is something that really sparked inside me. And I realized that I don't have to be great at the moment so long as I am able to continue climbing up this mountain and to reach my goal. Some notable moments, these are 2 videos, I'm not going to play them because they're a little long, but the one on the left is a video of Dr. Baruta showing me how to properly put on sterilized gloves. So they have these pre-packaged containers and, pre-packaged little envelopes, and inside there are 2 surgical gloves. Each are folded in a certain way. It takes a lot of skill to be able to put them on with like just your pinky and then just your ring finger on the other one. And in the video, he actually does it with a ring and his watch on, which I'm unsure how he's able to do. I did not have anything on when I tried, and I was stuck there for about 3 minutes trying to properly tug the latex down my hand. And I looked at him, and it was like, after a few years, you'll probably get it, but it's okay. To the far right, this is one of the videos I took of him explaining the anesthesiologist station he has. This includes the oxygen levels and the gas they use to intubate the patient, and also all the controls and all the monitors they use to make sure that the patient is steadily, their vitals are steady during the operation. He also has another station full of different tools to intubate, different medications to help nerve blocks, and different prescriptions, as well as just various paperwork. He was talking to me about how much paperwork is involved in this, in his job, and every few minutes he had to just look down at his watch and make sure he was putting the right time for when the patient was intubated, when they cut open to the patient, when they sewed the patient back. And he told me that, you know, if you ever get sued, these numbers are what's going to be saving you in front of the court. This is just another video of the actual anesthesiologist station. This shows and explains all the vitals and what each mean. I learned that a person breathes not because they want to get oxygen, but because they want to release the carbon dioxide from their body. So it's important to monitor both of those signs, because if you can't see how much carbon dioxide is accumulating in the person's body, you're not going to be able to tell if they need to breathe or not. Not pictured, the top is kind of pictured, but there is a small bag to the bottom of this station. And during the initial part of the waking up of the person and the initial intubating, he actually was pumping the little balloon, and he was hand pumping the person to be able to breathe. After 5 minutes or so, he was able to just let the machine take it into a steady rhythm. But the first few minutes and the last few minutes, he was in control of how the person breathed. And it is vital in those few minutes that he's actually making sure that they get enough oxygen and making sure that they don't get too much oxygen, or else something could go awry in the procedure. Requirement for this job applicants. This was a very long discussion he had with me. In this particular position, it's always important to put the patient's safety first, as well as anyone else in the room. If you're not able to put the patient's safety first, then no one's going to want to hire you, because you could be a liability for the company and for the center. Making sure to be efficient. If it takes you 15 minutes to be able to patch a patient up, rather than someone else who can do it in 5, that's just wasting company's time and resources, as well as the patient. And the more time a patient is incubated, the more time there is for something to go wrong. So we want to make sure that the patients are under for as little as time as possible, and that everything goes as smoothly as possible and as quickly as possible, but isn't rushed. So making sure that a person is efficient, yet can do their job properly in that time crunch is very important. Social skills, I mentioned before that oncologists and any doctor has to be able to talk to their patients. Before meeting with any of the patients and actually doing a nerve block on them, the surgeons, as well as Dr. Baruda, had to go and they had to receive verbal consent from the patient saying that they are ready for that procedure, even though they might have signed a written consent 20 hours earlier or gave their consent over text. Giving that verbal consent is necessary in case they just want to stop, and if they say they want to stop, then it would be kind of a conundrum if their entire arm is blocked for the next 7 hours and they're not even getting their surgery done. Properly licensed. An individual must be licensed in the respective state and have the following licenses, including medical controlled drug substances, Drug Enforcement Administration, as well as some more depending on the state we're in. California has different regulations than New Jersey, and so do all of the other 50 states. An individual must also be certified in ACLS and BCLS, which is advanced and also basic cardiac life support. These are just something that not even an anesthesiologist needs, but just any medical professional. education requirements. It's gonna be a long road. I'm looking at colleges right now, and it's very important to look at my undergraduate, but also make sure that I'm not putting myself in such a hard school to where I'm not able to shine and get ready for medical school. I was talking to a lot of the medical staff, and they told me, yeah, you could go to a great undergraduate, but what really matters is the medical school, because you're just gonna relearn everything in medical school. So getting a strong foundation in undergraduate, just so that the MCAT is easy and so that you get the basic requirements. You could be an English major and become a great doctor. You can be a finance major and become a great doctor. You do not need to major in biology or biochemistry, which is something that they really tried to make sure I knew throughout the entire process. Medical school is obviously a big a big step in becoming a doctor. You need to be licensed, you need to be graduated from any respectable medical school in order to wear the white coat. Residency, something that can last either 3 years or up to 7 years, depending on if you want to become a surgeon or any very hard specialized doctor. Oncology, I believe, is 3 to 4 years of internal medicine and then another 2 to 3 years of specified oncology residency. So I have a lot of learning in my next 15 years. I'm so excited for. Overall, I had such a fun. I only got to go to this experience for 1 day, solely because there was just a lot of paperwork for patient confidentiality as well as just safety. That's why there's not that many pictures, because obviously I can't take pictures of someone on a hospital bed getting stuff stuck into them. It wouldn't be right for the person. But just being able to see them stitch a patient up, being able to see how they intubate, being able to actually see Dr. Baruta administer these various medicines into these patients. It's very important, especially for a STEM career, I feel, to be able to get a foot out the door rather than just learning about all this through a textbook. Because this can sound very interesting, but then the stress and the levels of anxiety that one actually feels in the moment is something that's not taken into account for when you read like AP Biology, 19th edition. So I think it's very important, and I'm grateful to be able to be a part of this experience. I think there's another slide, yeah. Speaking with Dr. Baruta and other staff also greatly benefited me, because while it did help in knowing overall about this field, I also got to ask personal questions of, okay, so where should I go if I'm interested in this, or what should I do now in high school in order to build a repertoire so that I look good for medical school? What should I do during college? Should I be focusing on my academics? Should I also be trying to get other internships, externships, go into EMT, go volunteer in hospitals? So knowing what I need to do from people who actually did it was great, because they gave me first-hand experience, and the questions that I had were tailored to me. It's not something I can just look up at Google and Google gives me a generic answer. So being able to go and being able to find all these questions right there was something that I'm truly grateful for. I think that's it, yes.
Thank you. So I'd like to just say a couple things to close. First, I'd like to thank our central office staff for their support and the Board of Education for allowing us to do the pilot. I'd like to thank these two students for coming out tonight and sharing their experiences. What was real, I'm a science teacher, so as I listened, because they're both in the science field, I said to myself, wow, what an incredible amount of information they gained in such a short period of time just being on site with someone else. So how can you help us? We have a Thunderbird Partnership Program. You can sign up to be part of our Thunderbird Partnership Program. In that signing up, there's an area where you can say, hey, we'll take kids at our company. I'll take a kid on in the summer in a particular area. We're in the process of reaching out to area companies and building our catalog for externships for each of our career pathways. So if you know people in the area, close in this area, Mahwah, Ramsey, she went to Montville, a lot of kids can drive by this point. and are willing to work with us, particularly in the summer, that would be great. We chose the summer because it gives us a little more flexibility, and our kids in our building, honestly, start at 6:54 in the morning with music, do a whole academic day, go on to sports and activities that go through the night. It's hard for them to get an externship and an internship in. So we're opening it up really primarily in the summer, so we can give access to this to all kids who are interested in it. So we can use your help if you sign up through the Thunderbird Partnership Program, or you can email our Director of Guidance, Dominic Liana, and just give him your name and your company, and we'll reach out to you. Just say, hey, I'm interested in helping kids for job shadowing. Thank you.
Yes, whether you have band or homework or you just want to rest, please. Thank you so much for coming and presenting. You did a great job. You're more than welcome to leave. But you can stay if you want.
Thank you very much.
My last item is very short. I just want to bring this to the board's attention. I want to ask for. So let me just start with it. Under new business, the agenda item under personnel NN, if I could just bring everyone's attention to that. It's for district surveys, students, staff, and parents. I'm requesting that we table this item in order for further discussion with us squared, in order for us to continue to work on editing the document to meet the needs of our district. So I'm asking for NN in personnel, the district surveys, if we could please table that for further development.
When we get to that, I can do any more table it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll make mention that we're approving all items with the exception of that one, which would be.
Right, okay. Thank you, Dr. DeToro.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, thank you, Dr. DeToro. I mean, amazing stuff. Really true running achievements, academic achievements. I mean, again, and it's wonderful to see students come to our Board of Education meetings and, be honored for their, sports achievements, but also to speak to these kind of academic experiences as well. And congratulations to all of them. They really did a tremendous job. I mean, fantastic presentations, right? Mike, I was actually manager of cross country. I just wanted you to know that. Because I couldn't run, I can't even run from here to the door. But anyway, so congratulations to all of them. Mr. Bleeker, do you have a report this evening?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Got me? Hello. 2 items to report on this evening, both buildings and grounds related. Bleachers and the bleacher replacement over at Mahwah High School field. I just want to give an update for the community. I gave an update to the board a few weeks ago and another one today after a progress meeting that we had. The bleachers are currently being demolished. All bleachers have been taken. The bleachers are currently being taken down. The buildings below the bleachers, the old concession stand has been demolished as well. We're preparing to remove the last of the structural steel right now, as well as the concrete support piers that held up the prior grandstand. The next couple of weeks, we're going to be finishing work as it relates to the abatement of the storage tanks that are on site there and getting ready for preparation of pouring the new footings, all to be done within the next couple of weeks and into the month of December. So things are going very well so far with that project. The other Buildings and Grounds project is window replacement over at George Washington Elementary School, Betsy Ross and Rampo Ridge. As I said at a prior board meeting, we were in a situation where some of the supplies, there was a delay in receiving them. Everything has now been received, so that project has resumed. We've been doing it after hours as not to impact any instruction at the schools. Rampo Ridge, if you drive by, you'll see has had some of the panels replaced below and above the windows, especially in the 300 wing, which is the wing that is alongside the soccer field. And over at George Washington School, we just started this week, picking that project back up where we left it off and replacing windows and panels over there as well. So that project has restarted, if you will, now that all the materials have come in, and is also slated to be wrapped up in December. And they'll be moving over to Betsy Ross once George Washington and Rampo Ridge are finished. Okay. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bleeker. Thank you, Mr. Bleeker, for your report.
Quick question on the audit, status of the audit.
For the audit, Mr. Gallo, the auditors, we were speaking with them just about maybe a week ago. They're wrapping up some of the last details, some of the last couple of schedules. I don't have a date yet for when it's going to be ready. I would presume, based on where they are, should be ready sometime in December. Wants to have a final date and one of the board meetings in December for the auditors to come and present to the finance committee. We'll certainly let you know. But we're moving along and things are going well at the very tail end of it.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bleeker. Dr. Fair, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, a brief report. The first, I'll just add on to Mr. Bleeker's report. If you check out our Twitter, Mr. Pascal is posting updated demolition pictures every day, so those will be retweeted accordingly. The second piece is you'll see on our agenda for agenda items 18C through 18N. I know at our last meeting I had shared information about an upcoming paraprofessional job fair. It yielded a good amount of interest, so we were able to hire 12 new paraprofessionals to the district, and we're really excited to have them. What's really cool is a lot of those people that we've hired are interested in leaving their current fields and entering education, and this is like the perfect start. So we're really happy to have them, and they're all Mahwah residents. So that's my report. We're really excited.
All right, thank you very much. All right, my report this evening. So just want to bring to your attention the fall theater production of Clue, taking place at Mahwah High School, and that will be starting, I guess, tomorrow evening. Oh, and I'm sorry, Eddie, were you going to speak to that? Sorry, no, I'm going to leave details to you, Eddie. I just realized as I started saying it. All right, so let's move on to our Mahwah High School senior, Melanie Gilbert, our junior, Ricardo Petroni, and sophomores, Colin Massman and Carrie Prunk, for being accepted to Bergen County Chorus for the 2022-2023 year. And again, am I stealing your thunder? Okay. If you do, just like give me a sign and I'll stop. Congrats to our Chinese 2 student, and I apologize, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Talolok Tishikuna. I hope so. Who's been selected by NJCTA for a Youth Leadership Award. He taught Chinese to a monk during his summer vacation in Thailand, and that experience has inspired other language learners. So very exciting stuff, new stuff too. And then from Ramapo Ridge Middle School, congrats to Divya Thirumala, whose entry for the Lions Peace Poster Contest is moving forward to the county level competition. The theme was Lead with Compassion. I think we addressed congratulations to Zoe and to Braden. And congratulations to our middle school soccer team. And what a way to celebrate our return to middle school sports with a championship win. It's how we roll in Mahwah. And for those of you who are at the game, I mean, it was so exciting. And it was, I understand that it was a direct kick from a penalty, not a penalty kick, direct kick from a penalty, make sure we say it right. And Anshika Patibandla was the one who gave the winning score to them of 1-0. So congrats to Zoe Delahiri, am I saying that right? Delori, and all the coaching assistants, parents, and obviously the girls for a wonderful and exciting season. All right, last, I just wanted to speak about the election, since that happened recently, and I just wanted to first say thank you to everyone who voted, and again, I greatly appreciate being reelected to serve another term. I want to offer congratulations to John, Denise, and Christopher Hughes on your opportunity to work together. And I just want to say I thank Mr. Copland for his service, and I have enjoyed working with you immensely. We will continue to for the next few months. I will miss Community Corner. Perhaps you could just do it during public comment for us. And I know we will work together again very soon, right? So that's that. Now I have my little quote for everyone for Happy Thanksgiving. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you focus on what you don't have, you will never feel like you have enough. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving to all. Have a wonderful long weekend with your families. All right, that's my report. Let's move to board committee reports. Do we have Mr. Copland? Let's start.
I'll start with Transportation. Transportation Committee met a couple weeks ago with our Brain Trust. I should say that very. It was
In a
Brain Trust.
complimentary way.
It's very complimentary, yes. We're continuing our work going through the transportation program in town. We'll be meeting again in December to review budget, the financial implications of possible changes that we were talking about, as well as what the financial budget will look like for the 23-24 school year possibly. So thank you to everyone who's participating in that. Community Corner is pretty short since Dr. Morthy basically took everything, and I don't want to take anything away from Eddie. But from a town perspective, December 4th, there's a holiday parade. I'm just going to make that announcement now because I'm not sure if it's been announced anywhere else. But it's going to be going from Company 2 to Company 1. And this year, the town has moved the tree lighting to Company 1. So it's no longer going to be at Town Hall, which I believe, and Rick can correct me here, but I believe that's the traditional place
Yes.
for the tree lighting
is that
in
right?
Company 1.
Where
So,
it always was and where it should be.
yeah, and make that note. I think the parade starts at 4, and the tree lighting is at the end of the parade. Mr. Pascal mentioned the T-Bird partnership. I just wanted to remind everyone of that too. Last night I had the honor with Dr. Bavino to spend some time with the DECA Club in a role-playing scenario to help them prepare for their competitions that are coming up in the next couple months. If you've never participated in any of these opportunities in schools, I highly recommend it. It's extremely rewarding, and it gives you kind of behind the curtain kind of look at what's going on in our schools. Also want to thank all the schools for American Education Week, if I get that right. I was able to be a fly on the wall in 2 classes at the Ridge yesterday. That's always a fun time to see my kid doing swimming, standing up straight, and hopefully being good all the time. But I think he's very good when I'm sitting there. But thank you to the schools for opening up the buildings to all us parents. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you very much, Brad. Other committee reports? No, really. How about, Eddie, you want to go next, or? Oh, come on, Eddie, give us our Mahwah High
Yes.
School report,
All right.
student representative report.
So I feel like this happens every time we have a meeting, but Thunderbird Thursday is tomorrow. And you mentioned the play. It is Clue, and the first showing is Thursday. But I think that they are doing a senior citizen show either Wednesday or Thursday.
It was today.
It was today. Okay.
This afternoon.
So the other shows are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all at 7:30.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, and then 2:30 on Saturday as well. And then with the holiday season coming up, a lot of clubs and a lot of school organizations are doing a lot of fundraisers. So SGA and a bunch of the honor societies are doing Families for Families, and it's out of Whitecoff, and it's like an adoptive family program where we got assigned to a family, and it's like 6 family members, and we have to buy gifts for them. So I think the gift range, we're expecting like 60 student participants because we have all the SGA, so Activities Council, Period 1 reps, the class officers, and then we have National Spanish, French, Chinese, Science and Math Honor Society participating as well. And then another SGA holiday activity is the Elfing on December 22nd, the last day before break. That's when all the seniors go to all the elementary schools and sing in the hallways, so that should be fun. Also with SGA, we have our installation ceremony next Wednesday in the morning, which is where all the SGA electives, so the class officers, the period 1 reps, the activity council, they all get installed into SGA officially. And there are going to be bagels this year, which is nice. Some other clubs that are doing things on Thanksgiving, the Hope Club is donating meals to families in need on Thanksgiving. Girls Learn International is working with middle school gifted and talented students in the next coming weeks. That's not a holiday thing, I apologize for that comment. And then last week, my club, Mason Manti, our club, Action Athletics, actually had a Thunder Bowl, which was a big flag football tournament. We had 20 teams sign up, which was crazy. 14 boys teams and 6 girls teams. And so basically the way we worked, how they worked was, it was teams of 5, and then a lot of teams recruited coaches, which was very interesting to see the work put in by the coaches on some of these teams. And then we had a $30 entry fee for each team, and then the winning team, so $250 to each charity of the winning team's choice, and then each winning player got a $10 gift certificate. So we had fortunately my team lost in the championship, but so we have the funds being donated to Rare's Beautiful out of Englewood, which targets, I don't know how to say the syndrome, what is that, chromosomal disorder. And then Breast Cancer Foundation, Research Foundation was the other charity. And then with our sports, the fall sports awards will be December 8th. And then winter sports start next week, which is very exciting for us hockey guys and basketball and all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Exciting times over at Mahwah High School. Mr. Denise,
You have a
policy?
short report. Policy committee has only one policy on tonight's agenda for a first reading. It's policy 5512, harassment, intimidation, or bullying. There are no substantive changes, only minor changes, and a lot of language has been moved around within the policy.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a brief report from instruction and curriculum and special ed. So we had our meeting last week. Pretty much Courtney Corella, who's our world language supervisor, had a lot of wonderful updates for us. A few things, I think it's on the agenda that there's a Chinese club at Rampo Ridge that's launching in November. I think they're gonna meet 6 times during the course of the year by Mrs. Fang Bian, who's our Chinese teacher at Mahwah High School. And this is to just introduce Chinese at a younger age and to hopefully develop some Chinese learners into the high school. Dr. DeToro spoke about the adult ESL nights. And I just think one thing really that's exciting about that is that's for parents who are, parents in our district, but it was really, and it was also open to the larger community. And Dr. Bavino even commented that people were calling saying, is this something I can actually participate with? And there were, I think, several people who participated from the larger community. So, it's just wonderful to see the outreach. The other thing I wanted to highlight was she spoke about improving district communication with this app. It's app and web-based called Talking Points. It's a pilot that they're using, and it helps particularly with communication for some of our ESL parents and for students. So you could set a profile for each family, and the information will be shared in English, but then translated to their native language. So, this is a really useful tool that they're gonna pilot and see from teachers to parents, nurses, secretary, child study team members. So if you type a message, it will go to that parent in Spanish. They could then type it in their native language and it would come back in English. I think I'm explaining that right, Dr. Bivino. Okay, yes, I'm getting good head nods from there. So again, it's just another way to outreach to our families and to parents who might struggle with English as their primary language, and to help their students with communication. So I thought that was kind of exciting. I think the rest was already covered, so that's all I have. All right, should we move on then to board member remarks? Any additional comments? Mr. Gallo?
I saw the externship presentation previously in curriculum about a month ago or so, and it was very, very impressive, obviously. But I think I'd like to thank sort of the people who sponsored the Surgery Center, Boswell Engineering, for hosting our students. It's very, very important. And I was very glad that John sort of did the pitch to get more people involved, and as Brett does at virtually every meeting, pushing the Thunderbird partnership. It's very, very important. But it's also the administrators and faculty who's involved in guiding these students through the program. And the distinguishing characteristic for me is we have an extremely strong academic preparation program at the high school. But when the students go out into the real world and talk to real people who are doing these jobs on a day-to-day basis, I mean, the Boswell Engineering was 2 days, and the Surgery Center was 1 day, and in 15 or 20 minutes, she explained the entirety of sort of a pre-med program as a high schooler. Very, very impressive. So we do this great job on the academic side, but this externship experience is phenomenal for helping students find their path forward and to really learning about the real world. It's incredibly rewarding that we see this. These students are going to be so much better off. I mean, when he did the curriculum presentation, he was talking about, gee, I want to be a mechanical engineer, but now I saw a civil, and that might be a whole new thing for him. But the more we can do this, the more organizations we have that sponsor our students, the stronger our students will be to be in the world to solve the real problems that we have. So I'm so excited by the program. It's very rewarding to see the students really dig into this and get so much out of it. So, and thank you for having them come to us, because it's so important also for the community to see that our experience here at Mahwah High School is very dynamic, broad, and it services so many students. So, and I always thank you for your reports too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. All right, Mr. Copeland, please.
Just real brief, I want to take this moment to, from the election standpoint, congratulate Chris, Prima, and John on their wins. I want to thank everyone who supported me throughout the entire election process. I'm going to reserve some of my comments for the last December meeting, so buckle up. But that's really all I wanted to touch on the election. But again, congratulations to John, Prima, and Chris.
Thank you, Brett. All right, shall we? Old business. All right, so we have A, B, and C. We have minutes from 2 town hall meetings and then our meeting. So do I have a motion for 16A through C? Mr. Gallo, second by Ms. Cone. Mr. Bleeker?
Ms. Saccone,
Yes.
Mr. Copeland,
Yes.
Ms. Davanero,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva.
Yes, but I think you have to abstain on the.
Yep. Thank you. Mr. Denise,
Yes.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes.
and Dr. Morthy.
Yes, but I have to abstain on A.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on to new business. Let's take, let's see, we have A through, B. Here's, all right, do I have a motion? Mr. Denise, second by Mr. Copeland. All right, Mr. Bleeker?
Ms. Saccone,
Yes, but I'm abstaining on check number 1099158.
Thank
you. Mr. Copeland,
Yes. Oh, excuse me, check number, sorry, 109080, I'm abstaining on.
thank you. Ms. Davanero,
Yes, but abstaining on check number 109084.
Mr. De Silva,
Yes.
Mr. Denise,
Yes, but I'm abstaining on check number 109088.
thank you. Mr. Gallo,
Yes, except I'm abstaining on 3 checks, 109,162, 108,914, and 109,096.
Thank you. And Dr. Morthy?
Yes, and I'm also abstaining from check number 109117.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now let's move on to new business, personnel. Let us take A through, what do we have here, QQ, but we are tabling NN. Is that like that? Okay. I need a motion and a second, Mr. Gallo, second by Mr. De Silva.
Ms. Saccone?
Yes.
Mr. Coppell?
Yes, I want to wish the students that are competing in diving, rowing, and fencing all the best, and thank all the volunteers that are volunteering their time in various schools.
Thank you. Ms. Stevenero?
Yes.
Mr. De Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Denise?
Yes.
Mr. Gallo?
Yes, and I want to thank Dennis and his staff for organizing the paraprofessional open house and for the 12 new candidates that we have in our pool. Thank you.
And Dr. Morthy?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to public questions or comment. Public participation at board meetings is in accordance with bylaw 0167. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make a comment on educational issues or school matters of community interest. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you are here as an individual, please give us your name and address. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. All right, I need a motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Copland. Okay, we are open to the public. All right, seeing no one coming to the microphone, we are going to close our meeting to the public. Motion, Mr. Copland, second by Ms. Saccone. All right, so we do have an executive session tonight at the end. We will adjourn directly from our executive session. Thank you all for coming this evening, and again, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your long weekend.